What is up, everybody? I'm JLag.
And I'm NB.
And today we have a very, very special bonus episode podcast for you all.
And we are super excited because you guys know how of a deep dive we like to do into Riverdale. But we have a very special guest here today with us. And you guys might know her as NoContextRVD. Huge Riverdale fan account.
Major. And if you guys haven't seen her tweets or IG, please check her out. And it's some of like the funniest stuff you'll ever see. It's like, I am so entertained whenever I see any of your stuff. Memes, like everything. It's so great.
So welcome to Recap Rewind. Today, just to give you guys a sense of what we're doing, Macy, aka No Context Riverdale, that is you. We're gonna go through her best or top great moments of Riverdale of all time, from all seasons. So be sure to stick around. We're gonna start with like the fifth one and then work our way to her favorite moment. But before we get into the countdown, let's ask you some questions.
Some icebreakers.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Welcome, Macy. How are you doing today?
Thank you, guys. I'm doing great.
Awesome.
I want to know when you started watching Riverdale and when you got the idea for the account.
I started watching Riverdale the summer 2017. So I like just graduated college. I was like, it was just the summertime and I needed something to binge. And I just started watching it and like literally just I would rewatch the season. Like I finished the season the first time and then I just rewatched it again. Like I just became obsessed with it, honestly. And No Context came about because as I was rewatching it all the time, I was like, how is there not already a No Context Riverdale account? Because there's ones for other TV shows. And I was like, how is there not one for this one? So that's how it came about. I just made it.
You're so on brand and like your tweets are hilarious. I'm like, who is this genius behind these memes? Like, you know, like it's not just anyone can just do this. Like you're so on point with like some of the pictures.
The frames you select, it's like an art.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely
I have so much fun. Oh my god, so much fun.
It's such a fun layer to watching a show like Riverdale. And similar to you, I feel like both of us, we started with the first season and we were obsessed. Like we watched that first season, especially the first like episode, the pilot for me specifically was my favorite. But yeah, we watched it. We were obsessed. And then 3 episodes in, we're like, maybe we should start a podcast and talk about this because we're so obsessed.
And it's such a funny show to watch, right? Like it's got like every level of it, and we'll get into all that. So my question to you is like, we're 5 seasons in now. It's been like years since 2017. So what's kept you a fan all this time? Because the show from where it started, let's say episode 1, pilot episode, and to where it is right now, especially with the break, like so much has happened. So like, what is the one thing or things that you feel have kind of kept you watching, pressing play or watching it every week?
I mean, when you think it can't get any crazier, it does. And that's what just keeps me going is I just never know what's going to come out of Cheryl's mouth or what the new villain is going to be, like the Mothman. Never saw that coming. Like they always keep me on my toes and I love that.
I love watchers like you because especially like in the fandom, you guys love the craziness and we love the craziness too. But sometimes I feel like we take it from like a very serious lens and we're like, that doesn't make any sense. But like, I love to hear how you guys love it in that sense. Like
I do look at the logical side of things, but then I'm like, well, it's Riverdale, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to make sense always.
Comic booky. So I don't know if you guys know this, and by you guys I mean our listeners right now, but your account actually, I think it's at like what, over 50K followers on Twitter. Like when did you just wake up one morning and you were like, what the heck is going on?
I started the account in 2018. It was like before season 3 started. And I mean, I just did it with just for me and my friends because I have a bunch of friends who love Riverdale too. And for like a year, I just did that. That's how it was. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of started growing. And I never thought it would get past like 10K. I was like happy with that. I was like 10K was like like a number, like people, everybody was following me. Like that was crazy. But then it just kept growing, and then Cami Mendez followed me.
Yeah, like what did
Lily
you
followed
do?
me. I still cannot believe it. Like it's just it's crazy. It's a lot to handle sometimes.
Actually, I want to ask you, do you feel like there's pressure to push out that content like all the time? And
Sometimes there is pressure, especially during the hiatus. I feel like I constantly need to keep people like engaged and stuff, and I love doing it. But sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to take a couple of days off. If
yeah.
I'm not feeling very creative, I don't need to push myself to be creative.
Absolutely.
So I do try to give myself some breaks.
What's that one thing like now, like you mentioned the hiatus, we're not back until July really with another episode. So like
August
what is it
now?
Oh, is it August now? They pushed it?
August
Changed,
11th.
Oh boy.
Wow.
So another
Very
month,
painful.
even further out.
Yeah.
So with that, you know, you said that, you know, trying to find your like find that balance, trying to keep yourself excited. Like what is it that drives you right now, especially like during the hiatus? Just to give us some tips, because I think that between me and NB, sometimes we're just like, what do we do? Like that's a long time to like not have any new content to really speak to, right?
Yeah, it is. I try to keep up with the latest memes. So
Right.
like I have a bunch of just screen caps of Riverdale just sitting in my camera roll.
Right.
And if something goes along with the meme, I'm just like, just post it.
Send it.
But right now I'm also rewatching the show from the beginning, which I haven't done in a while. So I'm kind of going through the first season, and I'm noticing so many things I didn't notice before. So that's been really fun. And I don't know, I'm thinking of different things I could do, like just funny edits I can make, just something, you know.
Totally.
It's a lot of fun though.
Yeah, I feel like more than anything else, I think it's just like finding the fun in it, right? Because at the end of the day,
yeah,
it's a show, and you just want to have a good time with it anyway, you know, like.
And there's a lot of material to work with.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever get I know the ships can be really crazy in this fandom. Do you ever get like backlash or like drama from any of the ships?
I just recently people started like being upset with like who I ship and stuff. Like for the past 3 years, nobody's cared, and then all of a sudden, like people have started like being like saying things to me. I'm like, I'm just a person, like I'm just a fan.
Yeah.
I'm like nobody. Of course, I have a preference, like. So
Right.
now I'm just kind of like maybe not saying as much, but I am a Barchy shipper.
Is that with a B, just to clarify?
Barchy. Yes.
Oh my god, Jayla, I got so excited. Okay, she's one of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like I've said it enough that like no one new is gonna come at me for it. I've heard it all now. So
right.
Yeah,
it's
and
out.
I think this season really brought it out from people. Like we've noticed that. I mean, we've always sort of been really like subtle Barchy shippers, but overall, like we love them all. But this season, because I feel like it was all happening, people were like the comments on our videos where people were just popping off, and like we haven't seen it like that before.
I love them. People can come out, whatever.
Yeah, honestly. Well, that's the thing, right? Like at the end of the day, it's and the way that we saw it and the way that we take it is at the end of the day, it's a TV show, and mixing it up and shaking it up is always kind of a nice change.
Right. That's what I think.
Yeah. And we were so hopeful that like with the time jump, like having to explore that or having the ability to explore like a brand new coupling was super exciting. Obviously, I'm sure as a Barchy shipper, you saw with everyone else's dismay how quickly that fizzled out within the first like 3 episodes of
yeah.
the word.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of hope.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna come back.
Okay.
Barchy's gonna come back.
Do you do like deep dive theory reads and like kind of like see where things are going, or do you like follow some of the writers and be like, okay, what's popping up in here? Like, do you guys have something going on right now, or?
Well, the last writer I talked to on Clubhouse with Evan Kyle, he's a Barchy shipper, and I don't know. Everyone who listened to that, the Bugheads were like, he said Barchy's over, but to me, I took it as Barchy's like, they're gonna come back. Like, Bughead has to sort out their whole thing. Totally. They don't have closure, and so I think once they get their closure, Barchy can be together. Also, Barchy came together so quick that just doesn't sit right with me. Like, I just don't think they can go back to how they were.
There's something toxic about how it all came together during the time jump. So I agree with you. I think for both of us, just to like settle our souls, we've like let go of the thought of it for now, just because we were so like upset when it happened and the ending happened. But it's good to hear from another Barchy shipper to be like, okay, I can hold on to some of that. I'm okay with that.
Well, I'm a big Phallus shipper too, so I've learned to have to let go.
Yeah,
because that was very, very painful for me.
For sure.
Oh my gosh, that was.
I'm not over it.
Do you feel like the writers listen to the fandom? Like, do you think they go off of what people are saying on Twitter? And
I don't think so, actually, because I feel like they just do what they want to do, like what they want to write about. I don't think they listen to like, because I think that would be more like fan service, and I don't think they've ever really done that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you read any of RAS's tweets, I think he fan services all of us and leads us into every single possible human direction, and then rips our hearts out.
Yeah.
He does it quite often. But that's exciting. So you answered all of our icebreaker questions. Let's get into our top 5 best moments of Macy / No Context Riverdale. Let's break them down. Let's have a real quick chat about each of them. So let's go with number 5, MB.
So just to confirm, Macy, was this your best 5 or the craziest great moments kind of?
It was definitely the craziest moments, which was very hard to find 5. That took some time, but craziest for sure.
Let's start,
because all my best would be like ship related things.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
First kiss, the second kiss.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So your number 5, we're starting off with 5. You said Edgar Evernever trying to go off in a rocket, or just the whole organ harvesting cult storyline. And just reading that alone, I'm like, what am I watching? Guys.
I can't imagine someone who has never watched a show just hearing that sentence and being like, what is Riverdale? What is this show?
Yeah. What was your favorite part of all of that?
Just, I don't, so many great posts that I've posted like on my account have come from the great organ harvesting
experience
storyline. There were so many things to come with that, like the farm, Evelyn being a 30-year-old playing a 17-year-old in high school.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Being married to Edgar Evernever and then still calling him dad after that, like that freaked me out.
Alice
Daddy to another level.
Did she almost kill Polly, or was it Betty?
In
the water.
The tangerine
in the tub, right?
Polly like pushed her in the water.
Right. Yes.
That was very traumatizing for me because I'm an Alice fan.
Yeah.
So
that was
I was quite worried.
Yeah.
But just Edgar Evernever, I think the beginning of season 4, he just got completely changed and was like really weird.
Yeah.
I don't
Very
know. He was like,
Yeah.
I mean, he cut off Weatherby's fingers or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he was a great villain. Like, I did enjoy him as a villain, but I do think they took it like too far. Like, I think I would have been okay if it was just a cult, like in that way, but like it was just went too far. I feel
they went like Marilyn Manson cult. Like they just like took
what
a
was
hard
with
left.
the outfit and the rocket? Like that just came out of nowhere.
And
considering
it's like,
that was like his master plan, like flying into space with this rocket.
And then driving everyone off a bridge on the bus.
Like, guys.
Yeah, no.
It was a lot of things.
It was a lot of things. And like, I think with this show, and I don't want to like deep, like do a huge analysis, but like, it's hard when like your favorite characters like Alice go and dive into this whole cult experience and they fall for it. And then they come out of it the next season and you're just supposed to like, you know, be Team Alice again. But I'm like, girl, you were crazy last year. Like, how did you fall for all of this? But I know that so much of that was she had the trauma and she was going through a lot of things. But still, like, it's hard to like switch gears again and be like, yes, I love Alice. Like, she's on point this season.
I still like, I've always been Team Alice, but when she gave Betty's college fund away, that really just was like, I was like, I don't feel like Alice would like go that far. Like, come on. Isn't it bad enough she's like in a cult?
Yeah, for sure. Even, I mean, not to talk about season 5, but like the episode before the break when she gets upset with Betty for lying to her about Polly like not being dead or whatever. I thought that was kind of out of character, especially considering like all she wants to do is protect her mom, right? So it's like, anyway, there's a few things that are like un-Alice like, but at the same time, when you think about the pilot episode, so much of her was a little spastic, right? She was like totally overbearing, but then also very loving. And like, we've seen so many great, beautiful moments between Betty and Alice, and like Phallus, like you were mentioning, between her and, you know, like that was such a big experience too, watching FP and her together. So she has so many
come a long way
to her. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about her more because that is not the only storyline that this woman gets herself into. That she has had quite a trip.
A journey.
Very much a journey. And you know, to your point, when you were talking about just reading off of top 5 with like Edgar Everett ever trying to fly off into a rocket, I think that's the reason why your account is so perfect for this show, because literally No Context Riverdale, you follow your account and you literally could be like, that is a still from the show. Like that is legitimately coming out of their mouths. You're not making any alterations. Like they are perfect memes for that reason alone. It just kills me.
Like, don't have to have any caption, anything.
Just straight
the
up,
photo
this is enough. Exactly. So speaking of big moments, your next top 5 moment, and it was a big one that's kind of like shook and like reverberated outside of the season, was season 3 episode 9. So that's a couple seasons back now. Archie getting attacked by a bear was the big moment, the next big moment on your list. So what about this episode or even this moment, I guess, makes it as iconic in your opinion as you think it does?
Because I've used it so many times for memes. It's a moment I always go back to if like I'm thinking like there's some meme going on. I'm like, okay, Archie with a bear. You know, that one kind of works for this. I'm gonna bring that back.
Yeah,
I just don't think we should ever forget that moment.
Never forget
the bear. I feel like The Revenant was big in that year, and they really wanted to bring that Leo DiCaprio fighting a bear moment into Riverdale.
Totally.
We never even got to see the bear.
I know. We just got like a point of view shot, like running at him.
I did love though. I did love the story around that. I loved his journey. I love the fact that he had to leave town, like all the things with his dad. I loved all of that. It was so emotional and it was so real to who Archie is and Archie and Fred's relationship. But then the bear was a little, again, I was like, what?
Yeah. Wild, literally wild.
Yeah. He's still alive?
And then in the finale, when he has to fight that guy dressed as a bear.
Yeah.
And like there's a growl and he says, not again. Yeah. Like so great.
That's when you're like, the writing is perfect. Like they've literally like full circled it into another moment. And I know they reference it. They still reference it, I feel like, even years later. I'm surprised that they haven't mentioned in the time jump just yet, but I'm sure we'll hear a line where
fingers crossed.
He's like iconic moment getting attacked by a bear. Because it's true. It definitely was one of those crazy moments where we're like, wow, this show really went there. It really did. And he almost died. Like it was such a moment for the fans to be like, holy crap.
Didn't he have like a fever dream or something?
That was the whole experience. He like saw his dad and he was like, what do I do? Should I go back? Like it was such a big thing. And we all thought he was.
And he stabbed Hiram in that fever dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's trying to resolve all his feelings for his second father. I don't know if we're going to go back to Archie, but he is the central point of the show. So since that is the case, you know, we're talking about him getting attacked by a bear. He's gone to the army. He does a lot of wild things. What is the most exciting thing outside of the bear thing that you think with Archie's character? And do you think that there is something coming up in the next like in this coming season that is like that you want to see happen with Archie?
Well, Archie's got a lot on his plate this season. He's a firefighter. He's a teacher. He's what else is he? He's doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Archie is that I don't know. He's just such a good guy. Mm-hmm. Like I think out of all the characters, I don't know. He just doesn't have like a dark side. He's just Archie, and he's just trying to help everyone that he can. And what was the second part?
No, it was more just like, like what do you see happen with Archie in the next little bit of time? Like, what are you most excited to see, I guess?
I'm ready to see just Archie, just like just get Riverdale back in its place. I saw someone say that they think that Archie's going to run for mayor.
Ooh,
and he's going to save the town that way. Ooh. And I think that would be so sweet considering like, you know, Fred ran for mayor. I think that would be really cool.
I just got chills kind of like thinking about that. That's a really great, I would love that.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool if like it was like between him and Hiram and maybe Veronica threw herself in the ring too. And like maybe there's a little bit of a little feud.
Ooh, look at us, guys.
Like, let's just write for the show.
Riverdale.
All right, let's take the next moment.
Okay, let's go into moment number 3, and that is Cheryl keeping her brother Jason's corpse.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that. Tell us how you feel.
That was another moment where I was just like I just never expected that. I think it was this finale of season 3 when we saw that she took Jason's body. I don't know where I thought she was going to go with it in season 4, but I was not expecting her to have him like taxidermied and sitting in a wheelchair and having a possessed doll brother. So a lot of things going on with that, but I honestly loved it. It's just, especially this scene where Jason's sitting in the wheelchair and Julian the doll is in his lap and she says, "Don't move, either of you," and then it just goes to them just sitting there. That's one of my favorite moments. It was just crazy, and the fact that Toni went along with it, kudos to her.
Yes. So I definitely wanted to touch on that a little bit. And as much as I feel like I was definitely shocked, I almost wasn't surprised. And it sounds weird, but like it is, I could see Cheryl doing that. Out of everyone, I feel like it kind of fit her character the most. But I think for me, like I was kind of shocked at CHONI because I was like, maybe in the beginning you kind of go with it to be like, is she okay? Like, let me just kind of like make sure she's okay with like what's happening. But clearly she didn't really ever stop her. She kind of went along with it. Kind of like, girl, you need to keep your girlfriend in check. Like, what is happening here? Kind of waiting for that, but that never happened.
Yeah, she's got a corpse in there.
Around. Yeah. What do you think about CHONI? Tell us your CHONI thoughts.
I love CHONI, and I'm ready for them to get back together. But I do think that Cheryl needs to work some things out before Cheryl and Tony can get back together, because she's just like, I don't think she's really herself right now with everything going on. So we need to get Minerva out of there, and then CHONI. I need to know what Tony is going to be doing when she comes back.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
We don't know.
Yeah. How did you feel with that whole reveal that she was carrying Kang's baby? Oh, well, it's her baby too, kind of. Like they're all co-parenting, I guess.
I actually saw that coming, but I was like really excited to be right.
Yeah.
But I think that had to do with Kang's breaking up too, is the fact that maybe since they're going to break up, Tony will take care of the baby herself, and then Cheryl will come in, and then they can take care of the baby together. I don't know if it would work that way, but it kind of felt like it was going to go there eventually.
I like that. But yeah, that makes sense. I don't
know. I'm just ready for them to come back.
Yeah. I don't think J-Lag we can get into talking about Kangs, because that's going to take down a whole nother.
That's a whole different podcast. I could do an entire 7-hour episode just on that storyline alone. We've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah, but definitely Cheryl is one of my favorites. We all love her, and we just want to see her get better. And as much as the storyline was really weird and scary, it was really sad because she really was ultimately like, she wanted him back and she wanted her brother back. And something that I think the writers do really beautifully is that they've carried this Jason character with Cheryl throughout the whole series. Like since the first episode till like now, he's been a part of her, and it's one of the most authentic storylines I think that they've kept. And for me, it's just so like, powerful, and I love it. I love that it's a part of her, and I think he's always going to be with her, but we want to see her get better for sure.
Yeah. Even like the Viking like funeral thing she did where she put Jason's body and lit it on fire.
Yeah.
Even though that was funny, it was really sweet to see all the kids come together for Cheryl like that.
Totally.
Like everyone was there for her. So that was really sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. She's had such an interesting journey, and like for them to take her from like MB was saying, like episode 1 all the way through season 1, and her finding out how he was killed and how it's all wrapped up in the Blossom family. And I really feel like she has such a rich, very dysfunctional, but a very rich storyline in the sense of like how many things that she's had to go through. And you're right, like having them to like, even I think it was a couple episodes ago where her and Betty had that conversation about when you lose somebody, how do you like, would you have not wanted to know whether or not Jason was dead? Like they brought him all the way back like 7.5 years later to this season, and she was able to have like such an amazing, it was one of my favorite moments between her and Betty.
The Betty one, the Betty and Cheryl scene was so beautiful. And we were saying it a couple of times in our podcast. We were like, like they keep calling each other cousin, but they're not having a moment together. They're not having that relationship that they would be if they were cousins. But then we finally get that. And we both loved that scene.
Yeah. So I love that scene too. I would like to see more cousin Betty and cousin Cheryl being together, taking care of the twins or something.
Yeah. And I guess we can't, before we move on to the next point, like we can't talk about Cheryl and we can't talk about Jason without talking about Mama Penelope for like a hot second.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
she's the worst, but I love her at the same time.
Yeah, she's like iconically like the worst person in terms of like just being such a terrible mother. But I feel like the years have kind of toned her down a bit, and she does have these like love-hate moments with Cheryl, which just crack me up, like all the way up
Very
into the graduation.
confusing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she came to the graduation, called her nightmare child. I was like, I'm gonna turn myself in.
Yeah,
wasn't she like hiding in the bushes or something?
She was hiding
the entire time.
She just rolled right out. Yeah.
Sorry, remind me where we end off with her. She escapes the jail. Is that the last time we see Penelope?
And then they pray for wind to divert the fire.
Oh, yes.
We got to talk about that for a quick second.
Yeah.
Like
when you pray for wind.
When you pray for wind and the wind comes. I mean, do you think the Blossom family has a level of magic, or do you think this is just going to, go in
I do not think there's any magic there. I think it's just, honestly, I don't know. I think it was just luck.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of, I want to ask you really quick. Did you watch Chilling Adventures of Sabrina?
I watched a couple of episodes.
Okay.
So I haven't like finished it.
Okay.
But I definitely need to watch it all the way through.
Yeah. I was just curious to see if like you had seen that, but we liked it. Yeah. We liked it. Yeah.
Watch it all the way until like the last episode, right before the last episode, and then just turn it off.
That ending was a little rough landing right there at the end.
Rough landing.
Yeah.
Rough landing for sure.
But yeah.
Am I doing the second one? The next one?
Yeah.
Next one is, so this is number 2. And this spans, I feel like, the entire series, really. Like, let's be real. From all the way from season 1. The serial killer genes. This is a moment. And I say that because we don't talk about it until probably season 3 and 4. Like that's kind of where it really starts. You hear it probably every 5 seconds. Serial killer genes. Do you have a serial killer gene? Do I have a serial killer? Like everybody got the serial killer gene except for Hal somehow.
I think it was Google trending at one point. Like, is the serial killer gene a real thing? It was like, actually.
I was one of those people Googling it.
Yeah, same. We looked it up. We didn't understand what was happening. So what about this whole storyline do you think makes it so iconic? Because it is extremely confusing if you don't break it down like the way that everybody's had to break it down.
It's the fact that it started like season 3 and they're still talking about it. And Betty's FBI boyfriend is writing a dissertation about her family and the serial killer genes. It really is confusing, the whole family tree of it, because Hal doesn't have it, Polly doesn't have it, and Alice do not have the genes, but Charles and Betty do. And it's like, so it has to be on Alice's side.
Yeah.
Right. She's like a carrier, I guess, of the serial
Yeah.
killer
But
genes.
she's not a serial killer.
No.
Yeah. It's confusing because Hal's side seems to be the serial killer side, but it came from Alice's side.
I think this all just feels to me like they started writing a story like Hal being a serial killer, and then I think they started adding things onto it, like, oh, let's make like a serial killer gene, and then like they were like, wait, that's not really all going to connect. But anyways, you know what? Let's just keep going, because it does feel like that. It's disjointed, and it doesn't really make sense when you look at like the web of the family tree and everything. But okay, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Glenn has a really good paper, really good confusing paper to write about. So.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Definitely want to read that
paper.
after.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him? I want to know your thoughts on Glenn.
Okay, I thought Glenn was the trash bag killer.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Then I didn't, and now I think he is again.
So how come you didn't think he was? I
had a moment in the last episode where I just thought that maybe, oh, the big thing that he was hiding, because I always thought that he was hiding something. Something just felt off about
Right.
Glenn. And then when it revealed he was writing that paper on the family, I was like, oh, that must be the big reveal of what he's hiding. But now I'm like, that's what they want you to think. And so I'm still going to keep it in the back of my head that he could possibly be TBK.
Right.
So
yeah, I think huge possibility. I think it's almost like they're like kind of shoving it in our faces. They're like, this is the TB. So I almost don't want to believe that he is.
yeah.
And I've been seeing on Twitter that some people think that it might be what's the guy's name? The morgue guy.
Oh,
Dr. Curdle Jr.
Curdle. Yeah,
No!
Curdle Jr.
No
People are
way.
thinking it might be him. Yeah.
No way.
Because don't forget, guys,
can't.
he's had a relationship with Betty this whole time. So like he could be like secretly obsessed with Betty.
No. I would be so sad. So sad.
Plus,
I
he
love
likes-
that man.
He's been out
He's
here
a fan favorite.
pulling out these bodies for years, taking only cash.
Yeah.
So no Riverdale,
Small
just
bills.
cash.
Do you
Love it.
Small
think
bills only.
do you think Betty could be the TBK?
Oh wow.
Or Polly, maybe? Nah.
That would be
not Polly.
crazy. I don't think so.
I don't
That would be wild.
Yeah, I guess because they couldn't really make her like, how would they like come back next season and make her like good again?
I think even going back to like the serial killer gene thing, right? Like we can obviously see that she has like a darkness that she's been fighting this whole time, and she almost kills a guy a couple episodes ago. So it's kind of in her to like have this urge to like do the justice that her dad used to do, but like he also didn't have the serial killer gene, so it didn't really matter. But then
Yeah.
pulling it all the way back to Charles, which was supposed to be the big reveal, I think, which is why the serial killer gene storyline was even important to begin with, was the reveal that
Right.
surprise, Charles is also a serial killer, and as an FBI agent, he's been posing as this killer, which I don't know how you felt about that, but we thought that was a bit of a flop reveal in terms of like how it all went down.
I was very upset that Charles was like bad, because I was like, no, I need Charles. Like, we've already done this. Like, Chick wasn't the real son. He was bad. And now we
This
met
one is
Charles. He seemed like a great guy. And then they had to do that to him. And I was like, dang, Alice cannot catch a break with their kids.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's what I was actually going to circle all the way back to Alice and how much you love her, because she is one of our favorite characters as well. We loved Phallus. We love Alice. And we always rooted for her. And even through like, especially this hardest time, like her losing Polly, not knowing where she is right now, having to take care of these kids, realizing that, you know, Charles is a killer, and he, you know, they had that whole murder moment last episode with the pincushion man, like trauma. Like it doesn't get crazier than that for her.
She's definitely crying every single episode.
Basically.
Just like season 2 and season 3. We got a little break from it in season 4, but she's back to crying.
Such
It's
a
just,
shame.
I know. I need to see her happy.
I know.
And she's only happy when she's with, you know,
our
FP.
man.
I know, and who knows if we'll ever see him again.
I just want to see them ride off into the sunset on their motorcycles and like leather jackets. And that's what I wanted for Phallus, but we didn't get that.
Can Alice just call him? Like, I'll take a call. Like,
I
we don't even
know.
have to hear his voice. I
Text.
just need to know that they're, a text will work.
Yeah. And he doesn't even have to be in it. It could just be like her on the phone, and we don't hear his thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It
just
is
need
really
attention.
unfortunate how it all went down with Phallus, for sure. And I think that, I mean, obviously Skeet Ulrich was like, peace, I'm out of the show. I'm not doing this anymore. But at the same time, I think just like, to your point, all the Phallus shippers, us included, just like the way they ended off their story and saying like, who knows what's going to happen? And I'm 7 years later realizing that even though Jughead is back and all these people are back, do you think that we'll get him back at some point in time, or some sort of reprisal of like his character?
I've asked one of the writers that, and I don't think anytime soon we are, because
I think
I was really upset to hear that, but yes.
Yeah, I think it's a contract thing. I think he just probably doesn't want to be like he's not getting enough scenes to make maybe it worth him for him to be on the show and like live in Vancouver and like maybe he has other projects coming. I feel like it's a logistic thing.
Well, on his Instagram story, all he posts is his garden, so he's working hard in his backyard a lot.
He's working hard with his garden and Lucy Hale.
The garden
is what I. Apparently, they're not together anymore. Though that ended quickly.
Real quick.
No, but I want to quickly say, like, I feel like a lot of time was wasted with Phallus. Like, there was 2-3 seasons there in the middle where like they introed them and we were obsessed, and then they kind of just disappeared. Like that whole time she was at the call, he was kind of MIA. Like he wasn't really like chasing her in the way that I wanted him to chase her and like save her and like bring her home. He was MIA, and so I feel like in that time I wished we had so much more of Phallus. And I think I would
completely agree
with the ending then, you know.
Yeah, they gave us all the Phallus we wanted, like towards the end, where like they had to just rush and give it all to us before he left.
Yeah,
and there were just so many times during season 2 and 3 that they could have given us, like especially in season 3 when FP and Alice are having that conversation and FP tells her that it's over, and it's like, when was it ever like
on?
Like, we never saw. The only thing we ever saw was like in the episode 2, and then all of a sudden it's like episode 17 saying it's over, and it's like, why don't we get to see that like middle in between parts?
Totally.
That was like disappointing.
I think it's also, you know, because we've talked about this on the podcast at like great lengths, but I think one of the things that we ended up concluding too was they just don't have the time for the parents to really wrap up. Like there's, like you said, Archie's out here doing a million things. Veronica's out here with 7 jobs. Like they're all getting abducted by aliens, like especially after the time jump. Like there's almost no room for any of the parents to kind of come back with any storyline. Like Hiram is luckily the only person that's kind of survived it because he's the main villain once again. But outside of that, I don't think that we're going to see like Marisol Nichols coming back and being like, I'm going to do a Riverdale like special of my reality show, you know, like come through.
Well, in season 3, they did try to have like, you know, that storyline with the parents. But like they should have continued that.
I love that.
Totally.
It was so good.
Like the flashback and everything. I mean, there is going to be another flashback episode this season.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So exciting.
Do we know if we're getting like a flashback of like the parents, or is it a flashback of like the in-between years between?
It's the parents. Because Lily Reinhart posted an Instagram like story of her wearing like the necklace and stuff she wore as Alice. And I've also heard that it's like mainly focusing on Hiram and like how he came to be. So
interesting.
And that would make sense,
like how he became to be how he is.
I think Kelly Ripa posted a photo of Michael Consuelos.
Yeah.
I saw another
it was a very thick photo, and I was like, wait, was that from the first time that they were shooting? I couldn't tell. But she had posted it, and so I guess now that makes sense. They're gonna shoot the flashback episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be exciting.
Hopefully we get more flashback of the parents and stuff, like more.
Yeah, and like to your point, like the parents were so much fun, but I think their main cast is already so big, so it's like, how are they going to have another layer of the show and just do the parents? Like there's not enough time in an episode. Having said that, it's 22 episodes a season, you know, somewhere like, in there I think they can fit it in.
Yeah.
find a moment for sure. Absolutely. I think that they could have definitely done it, and I'm excited to hear about this flashback episode. I wonder one of the things that we had mentioned just recently was, how did Hiram get to this point where he hates Riverdale this much that he wants to literally like turn it into like not even a town and like totally like, you know, he's going in hard on Riverdale. Like he does not want it to survive. He wants it to like basically burn to the ground. So like, where did that come from? Like, I know that there was some illusion that he was, you know, treated poorly coming into this town, but like, we really didn't get a lot of that in the flashback, or didn't get a lot of that explanation. So the fact that you're saying that it's going to be focusing a little bit more on Hiram, I think is going to be pretty exciting.
That sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Shall we move on to the
Let's
last and
do it.
final best moment? So you said Jughead's "I'm weird, I'm a weirdo" speech that launched Riverdale into becoming a meme. It totally did.
I felt like I had to. That one had to be one of the top because I mean, like I said, like it launched it into becoming the meme. It like went viral, and stuff, and that's what made it. I don't know, just so memeable. That's where it began.
How many times have you used that? Have you used that meme?
I used it like earlier days, but now I'm kind of like I've moved on to the bear, and like I'll throw in the weirdo one every now and then though.
Yeah,
you have to. It's a classic, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't even remember where was he when he said that? Was he in Pops? Like was he saying it to himself?
It was in Archie's garage. It was his birthday party, and he didn't want to have a birthday party.
Yeah, that
was like, I'm too weird for that.
Yeah,
and she was wearing the Jughead shirt and like was trying to make him happy, and
she hauntingly sang "Happy Birthday" to him.
Happy birthday.
Yes, hauntingly is the perfect word there.
But also iconic, like that's one of those things.
Yeah.
And I think like to like, you know, going back to your Twitter, like there are some moments I'm sure that you can't even capture in just words. You know what I mean? It's like how it's said, who says it to who, like how they say it. Like
there's some posts that I'm like I need to just post the clip of it. Like there's no way to convey how great it was.
Totally.
So like sometimes I have to do that. Yeah,
so funny. And now I mean, since we're talking about Jughead really quickly, we can just like jump on him for a second. He almost possibly got abducted by aliens this season, and there's a lot of things happening with him. Where do you think that he's going to be going in the next bit of time? Like
I really, the only thing I can think of is that he's gonna wake up and be like in the back of a truck or something, and he's gonna think it's a spaceship because I guess it'll sound like one. It'll be really dark, and like that's all I can think of. I have no idea where this is going. Like, how did he get out of the handcuffs? I need to know.
So many questions.
Do you think he cut off his own hand?
That would be crazy. He could have a hook like Betty's dad did. Yeah.
Oh,
and I was thinking, like, was it his writing hand or was it his other hand? Because if it's his writing hand, that's crazy.
Look, when Tabitha did that, I was like, how is he going to type? Like, you want him to write this thing, but you have like one of
like tie his leg to the chair at least, not his hand.
He needs his hands. Oh, right. So that was your top moment. I'm weird, I'm a weirdo. That is very, very, very iconic. But before we finish up with you, we just wanted to ask you some season 5. I mean, we've talked about it throughout the episode, of course, but maybe some of the ones that we haven't gotten a chance to really talk about in detail. So the first one is, so everyone, like we were saying, was super excited about this time jump, and the first few episodes were really strong coming off of the, you know, the time jump. But now that we're a few episodes in, things have kind of changed a little bit, you know, in terms of like where their tone is and like where they're focusing on. Like, how do you feel about like where it's at right now with, like, you know, we just talked about Jughead going missing with a potential arm chopped off. Like, where do you think that the flash forward is taking us, and like how do you feel about it?
So far, well, where it is now, it kind of feels like they're going back to how things were, like VARCHIE being together, Jughead missing / possibly dead, you know, quotations dead. It just seems like it's going back, but hopefully in this next half of the season, these things get sorted out. We get back to how it was in the beginning of the time jump, because that was like you said, it was really strong and it was like fresh and different. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but hopefully, like, you know, Penelope and her little culty thing she's got going on, maybe she can pull something out that's changes things up. I don't know.
She prays to the wind and the entire thing changes.
That promo, there's just like so many things.
So much is about to happen for sure.
So you mentioned there's gonna be a flashback episode, which is so exciting. I love that the first time around. Lily teased the musical episode this season, and it's supposed to be really emotional. Do you have any inklings of what it could be about? What are your thoughts? Are you excited?
I'm super excited. I had no idea that they were gonna do another musical episode. I think they said they were, but then I was like, well, how are they gonna do it? They're not in high school.
Yeah.
But also, maybe they're just going to do like the songs from a musical, and it's not going to be like, you know, a stage production or anything. I don't know. Kevin's the Glee Club director.
Maybe they'll do like a fundraiser for the town or something.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. And like how they did Hedwig, they just did a variety show.
Right.
So that makes sense. I've seen some people speculate that it's the musical Next to Normal. Because that one's very emotional, and I haven't seen it, but apparently the storyline kind of goes with what's going on with Polly and Alice, like her missing, and like it's really emotional. For me though, I have no idea what kind of musical they'll do, but I'm really excited about it because I always love the musical episodes.
Yeah, they're so impressive, just like the production quality on them.
Yeah.
And you know how long it takes for the actual cast to like put this thing together. Actually, I think Cammie posted last week or the other week, she was recording. So I think she was recording like the audio for the episode. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. It seems like we're still gonna get a lot of things in season 5. Like we're not even halfway through, but I feel like we're still gonna get the best part of it. It's still yet to come.
Right.
And with that, like, what are you most looking forward to? So we talked about, you know, Jughead, like I said, going missing possibly. TBK still is MIA, and so is Polly. Polly's also missing, / potentially dead. So you talked about your possible theories of who the TBK killer could be. We're kind of pinpointing Glenn at this point, right?
Yeah.
And with Polly, you know, Betty's pretty sure she's dead. She's kind of on that train. Do you think that she's dead?
No, I don't think Polly's dead. I don't know where she is or what's going to happen. But I don't think she's going to be dead at all. Some people have said that they think that Polly is somehow like an evil mastermind and helping with whatever's going on with the truck thing, but I don't believe that. I think that maybe she is some kind of hostage situation, and somehow Betty is going to find her and she's going to be good, hopefully.
What if she just like
please no more trauma?
Death?
Yeah.
She needs no more.
She's like, I can't be a mother anymore. I need to leave.
Yeah. For Alice's sake, let's not.
I know.
Please.
I know.
I can't take it.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like she's not dead, but I kind of want her to be dead. And I know that sounds really messed up, but like, I just want the stakes to be really high in the show. And I want, like, when things happen, I want them to actually happen. Of course, I don't want her to be dead. I feel so bad for Alice, but like, I feel like I want something drastic to happen. I don't know. I don't know what will actually happen.
Apparently someone from season 1 is going to die this season. That's what I've heard.
I feel like Reggie might die.
I think that too. And that I don't want that to be true.
Yeah.
I really don't want him to.
I mean, I feel like you just have to guess what actor wants to get off the show.
I feel like low-key all of them want to get off. I feel like KJ's ready to go.
Like, I volunteer.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that's a big question mark, because it really could go all the way from like Reggie to Kevin to like because all of them are kind of all of them have kind of been around.
The only reason why I see Reggie is because he's on Hiram's side right now. I could see him becoming like collateral and like getting caught in like the middle, and he ends up getting shot or like something like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I really want him to have like a redemption though.
Moment.
Because I feel like he was like starting to have that when he went to the football game and was like cheering on Riverdale instead of Stonewall. And then he went back to Hiram, but I think he'll get a big redemption, hopefully, and not die.
Charles Melton.
For sure. But Kevin, on the other hand, I mean, like, let's not talk about that for a second. But yeah, it's interesting because there are so many things that are happening in this second half that I'm excited for them to tie up. Like Kevin included, I really do want to see what they're planning to explore with his character, the baby, Cheryl. Like there's so much that they can dive into. Where do you see, and I know it's probably a little bit too early to even like guess this, but like where do you see the season ending, or like what's your perfect kind of moment to see? Because I know that they leave it off with like a bit of a conclusion, but also they give you you know, a bit of a cliffhanger too. Like where do you see the season ending now with the time jump and everything?
I would definitely like to see Riverdale be like a town again. Like
that'd be nice.
Like actually be a town.
That's ideal.
The Archie theory of him being mayor, him taking over, everything starting to rebuild, everyone coming back to Riverdale, like flourishing. That's how I would like to see it. And I don't know what would happen like as a cliffhanger for season 5, but that would be perfect. Just Polly being home. I guess everyone being back in Riverdale and not going back to their homes they've had for 7 years.
Right.
I guess everyone becoming teachers.
Officially getting their
full on teachers.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that makes the most sense. And I think that would be so beautiful, but you know they're gonna have to end it off with a murder or something
crazy. Someone else is going missing. One of the twins get abducted.
But if it like becomes like Riverdale again, everything's flourishing, it would be like how it was when season 1 started. So it'd be like a new start. To a new mystery with everything being good, and then something bad happening again. History repeating itself.
Exactly.
And like I'm all for that. I'm all for like the recycle, like having a new villain, but I'm down for a new villain. I'm down for Hiram to like take a pause. Maybe he becomes good for a little bit and he does something really great for the town. But I'm also would be excited to see like a new
I agree.
Interesting. Very excited. We didn't really, and this is a weird way to end off the season, like our conversation, but like Tabitha is one of the characters that has kind of come out of nowhere. What do you think of her character, and what do you think of like where she can go now that, you know, there's been so much established before she's even shown up, but we love her. I love her as a character. I think she's such a strong character, and I think she's honestly really good outside of what she decided to do, chaining him up in the basement. I think she's really good for Jughead otherwise. But what do you think of her character, and like where do you think she's going to go with this crazy gang?
I love Tabitha. I think she fits in perfectly, and she just like, even though she was new, like so late in the game, she just fits in so well. It's like she's always been there kind of, and she's already so successful, and the way that her and Jughead became friends is just like really nice, that it wasn't all of a sudden like a relationship or anything. It was like friendship. Well, it was kind of like she was just not really interested in being a friend with him at first, I think, and then like they developed a friendship, and then like they kissed or whatever, and he was like, I'm not ready, and she respected that, and then they're just still being friends. It's like, I don't know, it's really nice. And I like seeing them investigate together. I think that's like a nice change, and the fact that she's gonna help find Jughead is like, I really like her, and I know that she's apparently going to sing in the musical, so I think that's fun too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, I mean, outside of that, I don't think we have any other big burning questions. We already talked about what ship you want to see kind of at the end game for you is Barchy, right? Like we're putting that down on the table.
Wow.
Thank you. I think yours counts for 50,000 votes. So I think we're good. I think we won this one. But it's been such a pleasure to have you and finally connect and meet you. Meet you, I guess. It's been so great having a conversation with you. And honestly, all the best of luck. I mean, you don't need it. You're phenomenal in what you do already.
She's got it.
You've got it. But if anyone is interested, maybe you can do a quick plug like on what your socials are.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I had a great time. I love talking about Riverdale. Obviously. So my Twitter is NoContextRiverdale, NoContextRVD, and then my Instagram is NoContextRVD_. Maybe one day I'll get the
all of it
account name without the underscore.
Put it up on the screen.
We'll send the links everywhere.
Thank you so much, Macy. This was so fun.
Thank you guys.
I want to do it again. I love talking about Riverdale.
You too.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.